They're all good men and true?
Yes, they are. Otherwise, it'd be proper for them to suffer salvation body and soul.
If they had any legions when they were chosen for the Prince's Watch, a punishment like that would be too good for them.
Well, give them their assignment, Sir Dogberry.
First, which man do you think is more desertless to be the leader of the Watch?
Either Hugh Aukcake, sir, or else George Sequel, because both of them can read or write.
Come here, Sir Sequel. God has blessed you with a good name. To be good looking is a matter of luck, but to read and write, natural gift.
Both of which, Master Constable.
I knew that was going to be your answer. Well, for your good looks, sir, thank God and don't boast about it. As for your reading and writing, use those skills when you use your looks. You're thought to be the most senseless man here. You will carry out the lantern and be constable. This is your assignment. You will comprehend any vagrant men you see. You are to order them to stop in the prince's name.
How if he will not stand?
Well then, don't bother with him and let him go. Then immediately call the rest of the watch together, and thank God they've caught such a criminal.
Hey, if he won't stop when he's told to, then he isn't one of the prince's subjects.
True, and you aren't supposed to meddle with anyone but the prince's subjects. You will also stay quiet in the streets, for a babbling watch is most horrible and will not be endured.
We'll sleep instead of dock, because we know it's appropriate for a watch.
Why you speak like it's an experienced and quiet watchman? Sleeping on the watch shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure that your weapon don't get stolen. Also, you're supposed to visit all the bars and tell anyone who's drunk to go home. Go to bed.
And what should we do if they do not go?
Well then, leave them alone till they're sober. If even then they don't answer to your satisfaction, you can say they are not the men you thought they were.
Well, sir.
If you meet a thief, you can expect him to be dishonest. The less you have to do with that kind of man, the more honest you will be.
Though if we know that man's a thief, should we try to arrest him?
Your position permits you to, but I think that those who stick their hands in pitch get their hands dirty. If you encounter a thief, I think the most peaceable thing to do is let him be himself. Just let him steal away.
You have always been known as a merciful man, partner.
Betcha. And truly, I wouldn't even hang a dog. Much more man with any honesty in him. Come on.
Right here. If you hear a child crying in the night, and you should just call the nurse and tell her to quiet the child.
What if the nurse is asleep and doesn't hear us?
Well then, leave quietly and let the child's crying wake up the nurse. The ewe that doesn't go to her lamb when it pass. Never tend to another animal's child. Never.
'Tis very true.
That's the end of your assignment. You, constable, are representing the prince himself. If you meet the prince in the night, you can tell him to stop.
No, by Our Lady, I don't think he can.
I'll bet any man who knows the law. 5 shillings to 1 on it. Truly, though, you can't stop the prince without the prince's consent. For the watch wouldn't offend anyone, and it's offense to keep a man out of his consent.
But by Our Lady, I think that's true.
Well, gentlemen, good night, and if anything else happens, find me and let me know. Keep each other's secrets to your own. Good night. Come, friend.
Well, gentlemen, we've heard our assignment. Let's sit here on the church bench until 2, then go off to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Just got one more request, good gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Watch over Signor Leonato's household, with the wedding being held there tomorrow. It's a great do tonight. I do. Be vigilant. I beg of you.
Alright. Conrad!
Peace, stir not.
Conrad, I say!
Here, my name, at thy elbow.
Oh, I thought I felt the scab there.
I'll get you back for that one. Now on with your story.
Since it's drizzling, stand under this overhang and I'll tell you everything like a true drunk.
There's some treason occurring over there, gentlemen. Stay here.
You should know, I've earned 1,000 gold pieces from Don John.
Is it true that any crime could be so valuable?
You should ask instead how any villain could be so rich. Because when rich villains need poor villain services, the poor ones can name the price.
I wonder at it.
That only proves how inexperienced you are. You know that the style of a man's hat or coat or jacket means nothing.
Yes, it is just apparel.
No, I mean the fashion of the man's clothing tells nothing about the man.
Yes, fashion is fashion.
Come on, I might as well say, the fool is the fool. Don't you see what a deformed villain fashion is?
Yeah.
I know that man deformed. For the past 7 years, he's been a wicked thief. He walks around as if he were a gentleman. I remember that name.
Did you hear someone?
No. It was just the weatherman moving.
As I was saying, fashion is a deformed villain. It makes hot-blooded young men spin around feverishly, forever changing their appearances, dictating that sometimes they dress like Pharaoh's soldiers in that grimy painting, and sometimes they dress like priests of the god Baal, as seen in the old church windows. And sometimes fashion dresses them like the great Hercules, where his dirt-eating tapestry and his codpiece seems almost as big as his club.
I get all this, and I understand that fashion changes so quickly and that a man's clothing never gets a chance to wear itself out. But you're all wound up about fashion too. Otherwise, why would you stray from your story to blabber on about it?
I ain't wound up about this, but I will tell you that I seduced Margaret, that lady hero's woman, a waiting woman tonight, and I called her hero the whole time. She leaned out of her window and told me good night 1,000 times. Oh, hero! Ah! Like, I'm telling this story kind of poorly, so I should backtrack and begin with how my master, Don John, arranged for Prince Claudio himself to witness this friendly encounter from the orchard.
And they thought Margaret was hero?
Well, the Prince and Claudio did, but the devil, my master, he didn't. He knew that it was Margaret, and they believed the charade might work, partially because of my master's testimony, which he first caused them to doubt Hero, and partially because how dark and deceiving the night was, but mostly because of my villainous actions, which confirmed Don John's slander. Claudio went away enraged, swearing that he'd meet her at the temple as planned, but in front of the entire congregation, shame her with what he had discovered, and sending her home without a husband.
We charge you in the prince's name. Stand!
Call up the Master Constable Dogberry. We have recovered the most dangerous piece of lechery that was ever known in the Commonwealth.
And one of them is the criminal deformed. Tsk. He wears a lock of hair. I know him.
Gentlemen.
I bet you'll be forced to bring deformed forward.
Gentlemen.
Don't speak. We obey you to go with us.
I bet we're a pretty valuable catch for these guys.
Well, our value is debatable. Let's go. We obey you. Oh!